I was fired from Radio Now 100.9 in Indianapolis after a 5-year run. And to be fair, I think I was asking for it. Let's get into it.
All right, that's right. It is Rika, your midday lady, live from backstage right now. I'm with my boy, 𝗏𝗏. How are you?
I'm good, Rika. Now I'm next to you. What's going on?
Here you go. Already tried to give me the business already. We've been here 5 minutes. What's going on?
What's up? My name is Rika, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about being 43 in a career pivot after an 18-year run in radio. And I'm broke. That's a story too. But let's talk about Indianapolis. Okay, so let me be clear. Getting fired from Indianapolis did not end my radio career because remember, I said I quit my dream job. I went out like Michael Jordan, and I would say my story is more similar to 𝗬𝗵𝗍𝗍 than it is getting fired.
Billboard magazine named her one of the hottest new artists of 2012. She was on GMA before you probably even knew her name. But America, get used to this name. Welcome to the Midwest, Miss Rita Ora.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We are going to take your little nephew, Pup Thor, to the vet. And while we go to the vet, we got some things to talk about. Let me roll up these windows. So before we go forward, I do want to go backward a little bit. So in the last video, as you know, I did talk about starting at Howard University and then graduating in 2005 and knowing even before I graduated that I was going to work at Kiss FM in Seattle. I knew because I interned for Kiss FM in Seattle the summer before I graduated. And I was already on this routine of interning every summer somewhere. The summer before that, I actually interned for MTV. That story is within itself, but I swear, a documentary about my life, if we sat down and actually wrote it out, it'd probably be 5 hours because I've had a pretty good life. And I'm proud of my life. And so anyway, back to the story. I had interned for MTV the summer before. And then I believe the summer that I interned for Kiss FM, I actually was hoping that I could intern for Oprah in Chicago, right? This is the height of Oprah Winfrey. I had dreams of being Oprah. That's, man, Oprah, I love you. But I didn't get that internship. So I was like, well, I'm not about to just go home and sit on my behind. The things that I'm doing on the radio at Howard, like I love, shout out to my professor, Professor Reggie Miles, who definitely encouraged me to stay in radio. He was like, yo, you got a gift. You got a gift. And he was definitely right. And I loved that he poured water on this plant. So anyway, I come to Seattle. I interviewed for the promotions team job and I got it. And I guess Marcus D saw something in me. And from there, Marcus D said, when do you graduate? I said, in December. And he was like, if I hold a job for you, would you come back? And I said, yes. So I knew, let's see, you go back to school in August. I knew by August 2005 that graduating in December 2005, I would be coming back to work at Kiss FM. And Kiss FM in Seattle was the pop station, by the way. This is fun fact. I had my 18-year career in radio on pop radio. I think a lot of people would assume that I was on hip hop. I was not. I think I wanted to be on hip hop in the beginning. I was jealous of everybody who worked on Cube 93. Shout out to Eddie Francis and Tiffany. I was jealous of them because they got to work at Cube 93. Now, I will say this. I did try to get an internship at Cube 93. And I ended up not getting hit. Exactly. It's actually, this is funny. So I had already got the Kiss FM internship before the summer break from Howard University. And I don't know why. Maybe when I applied for Kiss FM, I know that I applied for Cube 93. And they never got back to me. They finally got back to me when I had already come back to Seattle and I had already started interning for Kiss FM here in Seattle. And I think I was like 2 weeks in or whatever. And they called me and they were like, do you want to come in for an interview, to intern? So I'm like, yes, I do. Because again, at the time I'm thinking I'm a Black girl. I need to be on 𝗬'93. 𝗬'93 is actually what I grew up on. I didn't grow up on KISS FM. KISS FM, how huge it was here in Seattle, I began to realize that once I interned for KISS FM. But the station I grew up on was 𝗬'93. Okay. If you know, you know. So I wanted to intern for 𝗬'93. So anyway, so I go to the interview, right? And I go through the interview, and there was a question that the promotions team lead, I don't remember this girl's name, couldn't even pick her out in a lineup. She asked me the question, so you're not interning anywhere else here in the city or something like that. Whatever question she asked me, I answered, no, I am not, which was a lie because again, I was already interning for KISS FM. But why would I tell her when I really want to work at Cube that I'm already working at KISS FM? Because back then, rival radio was real. 𝗬'93 and KISS FM did not get along. Did not get along. I remember we used to get paid $1 on the promotions team. Was this at Radio Now or KISS FM? Anyway, $1 for every 𝗬'93 banner we would bring back to the station and throw away. And so we would prove like, hey, we got 25 banners today. We would get $25 or whatever. It was something like that. But the rival in radio in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s was insane. So anyway, I told the girl no. I end up leaving the interview and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get 𝗬'93 and I guess I'm going to leave KISS FM because this is the beginning of the internship. So I hadn't had the conversation with Marcus D yet. Marcus D doesn't know me at this time. And I want you to remember where I am in this part of the story. I'm 20 or 21. I was 21 because I turned 21 the summer I interned for MTV, I think. Anyway, so I'm young. I'm just an intern. So Marcus D doesn't know me yet. We have not really built our relationship yet. I didn't get that job offer from KISS FM until probably August. So this is May, probably April, May 2005, whenever you get out of school for summer break, right? So anyway, she ends up calling me. I'm walking down the street or whatever. It literally was like 5 minutes after the interview. I get off the elevator. I'm walking down the streets in Seattle. Ooh, it was a sunny day. She calls me. I answered. I'm like, hello? And she's like, I know you work at KISS FM. Click. And hung up. That's something I'll never forget. Like, she was wilding. Like, I don't know who. I bet you I can figure out who it was, but it doesn't matter. But anyway, whatever. God knew what he was doing. And I ended up working again at KISS FM on a pop station, which looking back was way better for me. Not only did it give me my career, but it was who I was. Like my group growing up outside of like Boys to Men and what have you is NSYNC. Still have those concert tickets. I've been to like 5 NSYNC concerts. I'm adjacent to hip hop. But I've never owned a Tupac album, never owned a Jay-Z album. So and that's important because I was redirected without, obviously I didn't know these things at 21, 22, 23 early on, but I'm 43 now and I see how God directed me in the right way instead of doing I'm supposed to be a hip hop because I'm a black girl. No, I'm a black girl from Kent, Washington. Like, come on. So I'm so glad that I thrived in pop radio and did not let not interning and not working for 𝗬'93 be a determinant. Yes. For me to like, forget it. Radio's not my thing. Because it ended up working out for me. And I believe that is the reason why I got the Drake interview.
The day is today. It is So Long Summer Jam, and I have the man of the hour in the building. It is Canadians' own Drizzy Drake. I like saying that because you say October's own, right? I say October's very own. That's right. And you just had a concert in your hometown of Toronto, and you brought out Jay-Z. You brought out Eminem. How do you do that?
I'm a very nice guy.
You're a popular young man, aren't you?
So when I was at KISS FM, about probably a year in, when I was filling in for everybody, filling in for Tyler doing traffic, filling in on the morning show with Jackie and Bender, filling in for everybody, even Kaola doing nights. I was sending out what we called air checks, right? So I would record myself on the radio, snip it down to a nice little package, and send out tapes to other radio stations across the United States. And so I was doing that for a while. And I remember, actually, this is what happens when you're young. I was so defeated because it was not happening for me, and I thought I was going to be stuck part-time in radio forever. You're so dramatic when you're young. I remember having a conversation with like a station in Florida. The first initial conversations were happening. Then I remember sending a tape to Radio Now 100.9, and that tape landing, at the time I didn't know, in the lap of Rain, who was the program director of Radio Now 100.9. And I sent that tape off, and one day I got a text from Tyler who said, "Hey, did you send a tape? Did you apply? Did you send a tape to Indianapolis?" And I said, "Yeah." And I thought I was like in trouble, or I wasn't supposed to tell anybody I was applying or something. But Tyler knew, Kristen, the Island Girl, knew, because I give them credit for helping me hone more of my talent, my voice as a radio personality, especially on pop radio. So love them. Actually, I saw Kristen, the Island Girl. She's gonna be that forever. Just worked with her last month at a school that she now works at. So Tyler texted me that, I thought I was in trouble, whatever. And I said, "Yeah," hesitantly. And he said, "Okay, you'll be hearing from Rain." And he was right. And they flew me out to Indianapolis. Again, this is back in the day, radio, back in the day, where I got flown out to have this meeting, this interview with Rain. So after I got flown out to Indianapolis to have the dinner with Rain and talk about working there, I will say it took a while. And again, so dramatic at 24 at this time. I was like, I'm not going to get it. It's been like a month, haven't heard from Rain. And then finally, I got the call to come to Indianapolis. And I was so excited that I did not even negotiate my pay. At 24, okay? And I remember going to Indianapolis. My dad went with me. My dad was very hesitant about me living in Indianapolis. If you know the history of Indianapolis, then you know why. But he came with me and he said, "Okay, well, little Circle City seemed cool," because this was my first time being in Indianapolis. Well, the second time after, of course, being flown out. But living away from my parents in a different city that didn't have to do with college. What? So I got the job, and I do remember the first week I was there. It was the week of my 25th birthday. My dad left like a day before or something. Pops had to work. And I remember taking a taxi to go to Walmart to get me a birthday cake. And I sang happy birthday to myself. And I was like, "You're a grown up now," because I had my own apartment. And the first week I was there, I hung out with Riggs. I think, yeah, Riggs and maybe some other people that worked at Radio Now. And I remember throwing up. And I thought maybe it was like, "Oh, I miss home," or whatever. And so the lineup at Radio Now 100.9, when I first got there, I believe there may be some misplacings here and there because memory, right? But the morning show was Scotty, Mackenzie, and Shy. Shout out to them. Middays, me. And then afternoons, of course, was Rain. And then at night, it was Riggs. And then after some time, Riggs did what we do in radio. He got another job and he left. And then it became Mikey V. Shout out to my brother, Mikey V. Now, all of those people in that lineup, I still talk to. What happens after that and getting fired, we will talk about that. I don't talk to none of those people. But
all right, from MySpace to the top of the charts with songs like Beautiful Girls, IMC TV, I give you Sean Kingston.
But I'm a hard worker, so yeah, I mean, it was cool to sell those records, and next time I just want to sell more. I want to sell like 1 million, maybe like first week, or
I mean, I'm saying first week out, first month out, you did pretty good, Drake.
Yeah,
so I wasn't supposed to have this Drake interview. I wasn't. Let's get into it. Back in the day, now some stations still do this, but it's not as big as it used to be. Especially here in Seattle, stations don't really do this. Summer jams. Remember Cube 93 Summer Jam? Oh my goodness. When I worked at Kiss FM, we would have things like Jingle Bell Dash, also have BFD, which was Big Freakin' Deal, where the station would put on a summer concert. Working at Radio Now 100.9 in Indianapolis, we had a summer series called So Long Summer Jam. And the summer right before Drake dropped his second album, we as the pop station booked Drake. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I remember some rumblings in the building. Our hip hop station, our sister station, the program director was upset. Now, Rain, my program director, I don't know what he did. He pulled some strings or whatever because we did have Drake. Now, did we play mixtape Drake? No. But Best I Ever had a lot of spins on Radio Now 100.9. So we booked Drake, and I remember, I'm not going to remember the exact words that I said to Rain, but I remembered saying to him, if you do not give me this interview with Drake, I will blow this station up. Because normally the morning shows, so in this case, it would have been like Scotty Davis or Mackenzie, would get the interviews because these are the big artists, and the morning show, the big show on the station, usually gets the interviews. But here's why I say being a pop girl on pop radio actually worked in my favor, because nobody really on that station, except for like me, Rain, and Mikey, knew how big Drake was and how we knew he was going to be even bigger. And so I said, do not give Scotty and Mackenzie that interview. I better have this interview, probably rolling my neck and doing all of this, okay? And Rain was like, all right, let me ask the label. The label actually, well, this is what Rain said, got back to Rain and was like, no, we're not doing interviews. So I was like, okay, whatever. Mind you, this is like weeks before, a month before, whatever. So long Summer Jam is supposed to happen, whatever. So I don't get to interview Drake. And let me tell you, back then, I was such a fan of Drake. I didn't know Aubrey Graham on Degrassi, whatever it's called. I also didn't know mixtape Drake. So again, I'm adjacent to hip hop. This is why I'm in pop radio. But I knew who Drake was. Best I ever had. I sure did know who Aubrey Drake Graham was. And being a radio personality, I was ingesting all of this tabloid, information about these artists. This is how I would know about these artists. We didn't really, social media was already around, but it was at the beginning. So it wasn't the way it is today in 2026. So no, it was like blogs. I'm reading blogs to learn about Drake. And because of that, of course, like I'm a huge fan. So anyway, the label, the management, whatever, they say no. At least that's what Rain says. The day of the concert, I'm at the concert, hair up. It's Indianapolis in the summertime, humidity. I'm putting Radio Now posters everywhere. I got my Radio Now t-shirt on. So I'm not really looking as cute as I would have maybe done if I knew that I was going to get this Drake interview. So anyway, I'm in the midst of, being the setup and helping promotions. And Rain was like, hey, go downstairs. You're about to interview Drake. And I said, I'm not cute. I didn't prepare. Like, what? And he goes, do you want to interview him or not? So the interview that went up on YouTube, that went up on IMC TV, which was our TV station in Indianapolis back then. I was also a TV personality. We will talk about that later. The interview that went up, my first time going viral, I didn't even know what going viral meant. I remember Vlad TV picked it up. And every 5 years or so, it'll trend again on like Twitter or something, especially the moment where he takes the eyelash off my eye. So he says, I wasn't prepared for that interview. I did not prepare for it. Let me take that back. I did not prepare for that interview, but I was prepared for it because I was such a fan. And I would like to give that Rika a high five because I did my thing. I did my thing. And I was so proud of myself. And I will say this. I was prepared for it in a sense of obviously I was a fan, but also, again, being on pop radio actually helped me get a lot of the interviews that I wanted to get because I didn't care about Fall Out Boy. I do have an interview with Gym Class Heroes because I did love me some Gym Class Heroes. Okay, I did. Okay.
What's up? It's Rika here. Middays on Radio Now, 100.9. Shut up. And IMC Drive Time 6 a.m. I'm here with the Gym Class Heroes.
Yes,
and
you
so
are here.
they gave Travis the mic. Why you always get to talk first? Like, that's rude.
I mean, honestly, it's like, the way it boils down is like, you know what I mean? Like, these dudes basically just channel what they want to say through me.
Okay.
I'm a medium.
What's up, Travis? Remember when he dated Katy Perry? Crazy. Anyway, so I didn't care about like like the like I said, the Fallout Boys of the world. I didn't really care about those interviews, but the interviews that I did care about, I got. For instance, flashback to Kiss FM real quick. Once I was like,
King dropped pretty much the same time. Both of them did very, very well.
Yeah.
Your cast was what? Evan Ross, Jackie Long.
Yeah.
Evan Ross is actually Diana Ross.
real quick. Once I was like off of being like the streets diva, and I really actually was the girl that was filling in for everybody. Shout out to Kristen, the Island Girl, even Tyler. I would fill in on Jackie and Bender doing traffic, and just being a personality on the show. Because I was comfortable and I had showcased that I was super comfortable. I remember when T.I. came to do a show here in Seattle, and I believe my Saturday show, I got to interview T.I. And to me, that's wild because when I was in college at Howard, I remember my ex-boyfriend getting pissed at me because I didn't know who T.I. was. At 18, 19, no, I didn't know who T.I. was. I found out who T.I. was because I went to Howard University and I'm amongst people from the South, the East, the continent, everything. So I got exposed to a lot of other artists that I just didn't know of living in Seattle back in that time. And so I got to interview T.I. The time that I did interview T.I. now at 22, 23, of course I knew who Tip was. Okay. I did. And I love T.I. still to this day. So I got to interview artists like that because, again, I'm the girl on pop radio and these Black artists that maybe the morning show or whoever, and, you know, I'm not trying to make them seem like they didn't care about these artists, but they just they weren't as excited about these artists as I was. So I got the interviews. I got to interview Sean Kingston. I got to interview Diggy Simmons when he was on the rise. There's a plethora of artists that I have met and or interviewed because I'm the Black girl on pop radio. So let's just give it to Rika. So I was prepared for Drake. After interviewing I've interviewed T.I. way before Drake. Chingy, definitely met and got to hang out with him before Drake. So I was prepared. I met Will Smith on MTV when I was interning for TRL. I got to be one of the fans. Remember TRL? And the fan would be on the show and she would get to introduce the next video. And they'd be like, my name is blah, 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 blah. I'm from Seattle. And I go, da, da, da. That was me. And I got to do that on TRL. So again, I was prepared for that Drake interview. And when I tell you little Rika, especially after meeting Will Smith, I could have just left the earth. I might have left the earth then, okay? Because if you knew 11-year-old Rika, that was the moment for me. I was done. Mind you, the biggest thing in my world when I was little, in my tweens, Will Smith and Oprah Winfrey. I met Will Smith working at MTV and I saw Oprah twice speak. I even have a t-shirt. When I saw it was, this is so random, but is it Indiana University or whatever named their auditorium after the late night host who is now retired and I cannot remember his name, David Letterman. They named like their auditorium after him and Oprah was the one to come to interview him when they did the whole reveal and everything. And I was in the audience. Okay, dang, I wish I had some video from that. Yeah, so that is how I got the Drake interview. I even have a t-shirt. When I saw it was, this is so I'm so proud of myself. I edited this whole vlog. Let me turn this fan off. Hold on. Okay, as I was saying, last Sunday or the first couple of Sundays where I'm posting, right? So I post every Sunday right around 3, 4 o'clock Pacific Northwest time, okay? I was scrambling on Sundays, editing for 8 hours to get the video done. I said, Rika, you about to start grad school and teaching full time. You cannot be doing this. So every day this week leading up to Sunday, I would edit for 2 hours. I would sit my little behind down and edit for 2 hours because I kind of have an editing, not really perfection, but it needs to be good. This was my major. Okay, my major at Howard was TV production. Like being in the editing bay, this is my bag, okay? So I'm really excited to be back to editing. And so I wanted to look good. So anyway, I did the minimal I could because I do want to be pumping these videos out and getting ahead of myself so I can be prepared for grad school. And I'm putting, let me just get back to the reason why I'm putting this video at the end of my Drake story, because I'm going to end here, this video. I'm going to end here, but I didn't want to just end it at that video. I wanted to talk to you first. So I'm going to end it here. Coming up next week, next Sunday, we will reminisce with my good friend Lori, my makeup artist, my good friend Rachel. Kind of like our times when I was in Indianapolis. I missed them so much, and I'm so excited that I got to see them when I went to Indianapolis for my good friend Adrienne, her wedding. So we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to break down my TV career and how I relate to the singer Coco Jones. I don't know if you saw her latest post, but I relate to her so much. So we'll talk about that. And then I will end next week's video with the story of me getting fired. Yeah. So I will end it there. I'm going to get ready to go to church. I'm going to cook me breakfast. Then I'm a church girl, sure am. Then I'll be off to church. But thank you for watching. Thank you. Please comment below, especially if you made it to the end, because comments help my reach. And listen, I'm about to be a teacher. And yes, it's a full-time job. And yes, I will be coming off the back of really struggling after getting laid off financially. Yes, the full-time job, and yes, being a teacher is a blessing, but it's still a teacher's salary. So your girl trying to make this content thing a thing again, okay? Because anyway. Okay, next week, I will see you, girl. I will see you. Oh, I did forget to tell you, all of the interviews that you saw in this episode, they are here on my YouTube channel. I started YouTube in 2007, and Lord knows I wish I would have really kept up with it, because who knew? Who knew? You know, and that would have been the first good time to start. But the best time, the second best time to start is now. So anyway, if you want to see those interviews, they are on my channel. If you want me to send you the link, because I have a lot of videos on this channel, just let me know. Just comment below, and I'll send you the link.